Hello and welcome. Today we're in the upcoming Tier 9 German cruiser, the Siegfried. She's still a work in progress and thus subject to change, and she has changed since the last preview video I made of her. In fact, she has gained secondaries. There were also some other changes, but kind of forgotten, and it's difficult to tell because the stats in port on the ship don't actually correspond to what the ship does. For example, her secondary range in port is mediocre, but in combat with my full secondary upgrades I actually have manual secondaries, AFT and concealment expert on this one. These secondaries actually go, I think it's 11.7 kilometers or 11.3 or something like that, right? And it's actually quite amazing because the concealment on the ship is 11.9. And she also still has these really accurate guns, although she only has 6 of them, and she basically is a Gneisenau still, but it's actually quite interesting. Well, if we're completely honest, Gneisenau's armor in my opinion is slightly better, but there are some advantages to the Siegfried, especially if you were top tier, which I basically never am for some reason. I tried to take a shot into the smoke, maybe I'll get lucky on the Minotaur one. Oh yeah, speaking of the concealment range, check this out. So I know that this is a different match, but pay attention to my concealment. So I'm in a snowstorm, and my concealment is 9.5 kilometers. And check out this, look at that Shimakaze. I select her for secondary targeting, she's out of my concealment range, so I'm not spotted by her. Yet I'm in open water and my secondaries are actually firing at her. And I'm not spotted! That's quite amazing. Something that I feel is something that I didn't know in terms of the mechanics. It's not really all that useful because you aren't in a situation very often where concealment is lowered. You could be in something like arms race, for example, but well, right now it's basically only the snowstorm. But it's just an interesting thing to know. So the reason I mentioned the concealment expert earlier with the secondary build is that the concealment versus secondary range difference actually is fairly small on the ship. 11.9 kilometer concealment range with 11.7, let's say it's 11.7 secondaries, means that basically the moment I get spotted by a cruiser, for example, my secondaries are already in range. Sure, the firepower on these secondaries isn't amazing and I don't have IFHE, so I'm not quite as deadly against battleships, but against cruisers, it's great, because that suddenly means lots of damage. Now, I know 11.9 kilometer concealment isn't the greatest for a cruiser, but I'm a super cruiser basically. Well, if I'm completely honest, this is like a battleship in my opinion, because the reload time is a battleship reload time, and the armor scheme is actually, in my opinion, better than what you normally have on these super cruisers. So yeah. The firepower though is kinda lacking, at least with HE. With AP it's actually really good, it really feels like a battleship. Except a broadside Yamato feels a bit like a Kremlin if you're like beyond 12 kilometers. It's very difficult to penetrate the side with the AP. But it can work. Oh, and she still has fairly good torpedoes. I think they're 6 kilometers. But I can't be sure because the stats don't necessarily indicate what the weapons can actually do. Anyway, we're gonna sink this Georgia. Now, if I were to be completely honest, I think the Georgia is a better ship because, well, their secondaries in my opinion are better because they don't need manual secondaries to actually be able to hit. And the Georgia is faster, and she has battleship armor, and actual battleship guns. Now, on the other hand though, Georgia gets matchmaking as a battleship, whereas the Siegfried gets it as a cruiser, which probably means that Siegfried actually could be fairly interesting of a ship for something like ranked, for example. Well, not that I can play it this season, but if we have a future tier 9 ranked season, I think the Siegfried might actually be an interesting ship to play, depending on how popular battleships are. Of course, the lack of radar can be a problem, but, you know, it's maybe it actually would be even better for something like land battles where battleships are limited. Anyway, we should be able to deal with this Georgia. Okay. Good job, Yamato. Well done. And I guess this means we push further. Hydra is off though. This is gonna be a dangerous pass that I'm gonna do here. I'm gonna pass the Yamato most likely, and it is dangerous because if you look at the minimap, in the A-cap there is a daring, and I don't have Hydro, and there will be a battleship behind me, so there's a good chance that torpedoes are on the way. So I do hope to not get hit by those. But while that happens, we can actually finish off the daring with secondaries, or main guns, depending on the situation, I guess. Come on, reload. Okay, I think the daring's gone, regardless whether she gets secondaried or not. Oh, never mind. She got audacious instead. Damn. Our CV sure is audacious, stealing all those kills from me. Okay, 1. Something I noticed though is that while playing the Siegfried, I had okay games. None of the games I had were amazing. Literally none of them. And I played over a dozen games after this, you know, the secondaries were changed and whatnot. I played over a dozen games, but none of them were amazing. They were just okay. Basically all of them were just okay. Including this one, by the way. I just got citadeled through the front by the Yamato. On the other hand though, I citadeled her back, so I guess we're even. Now, my bow and stern, I think the stern as well, the bow for sure though, is 27mm, meaning that battleships, the 406s and whatnot, can overmatch that. And of course, this includes the mighty Yamato. On the other hand though, something you can do is, because I'm a cruiser, I'm slightly more maneuverable than what you would expect, and thus it is possible to try to mess up the aim of the battleship firing at you. By, you know, showing more side, then when you see the battleship fire, you start turning in, then they hit your side plate armor and they bounce because that one's actually thick, you know, stuff like that you can still do. Or you can go back and forth and just hope that the Yamato just, when she hits, she doesn't actually citadel you. And wow, this Minotaur is ambitious. I don't recommend doing that. I think she's pretty dead. I am backing off though, because I really expect this Minotaur to fire torpedoes. I do have Hydro up, which will save me, but I do need to be moving, and I can't really reverse too much because there is a Musashi on my side. I would be sunk by her. But it does seem the Minotaur did not torpedo for some reason, which is great, I guess. The CV seems to be coming here. That's not good. I'm surface spotted. I really can't push out here because it's 3 battleships. And for some reason the battleships that were next to me, the Yamato and the Soyuz, did not decide to follow me. Which means that I will have to contend with these ships on my own. Well, technically they're helping, it's just that they're not tanking. Which is something, you know, our positions really should be switched. I should be the one with the, at the back firing my guns, and the Yamatos and Soyuzes should be at the front tanking, but whatever. The CV is dropping me, which is not nice, because I'm only a little tiny tier 9 cruiser. I'm gonna get hit by some of these torpedoes. Nothing I can really do about it. Oof. Engine got broken, but luckily midway torpedoes deal no damage. I think if they nerf midway torpedo damage, you know, if you get hit by those torpedoes, you might actually be healed. They'll deal that little damage. Oh, and Musashi is showing broadside. Now, at 14 kilometers, I can't citadel a Yamato or Musashi, but at 7, absolutely no problem. That Musashi is so very dead, and she probably cannot actually punish me for it. CV is coming back again, unfortunately. I'm gonna try to turn out here. Luckily there is an island and the smokescreen that helped me disappear from that Yamato. The CV can see me, but the shells would have to hit the island to be able to hit me, so should be okay. Oh, there's the midway actually. Oh, I might be able to punish her for trying to take advantage of me this much. But overall the game though is kind of over. I mean, 9 versus 4? Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work out too well for the 4. Yamato can run as much as she wants, but it's really not gonna change it. Meanwhile, I do have to keep running away because the Yamato still likes shooting me because I'm the closest ship to her, because our battleships decided not to battleship today. So I, as a teeny tiny cruiser, have to pick up the slack. Okay, the Siegfried is actually enormous, but she's still a cruiser. That Yamato really wants to sink me. Luckily though, our Yamato is getting closer to her, so she should be the one to tank now. I do only have 8k HP left and no heals. That's very unfortunate. Wait, the Yamato is still firing at me? Come on. Stop it. Pick on someone your own size. Oh, Kronstadt is firing at me too. That's even worse. Okay. Thank you, gun turret, for taking some of the damage. Okay, Kronstadt is gone. That's good. You think the Yamato will... Yeah, the Yamato just fired at me. Pretty sure. Or the Soyuz. Probably me, though. So I'm gonna slow down while doing the turn. Hopefully this will make her shells miss. And it did. She straddled me. One fell short, then the rest went over. And now I'm in concealment, so I'm safe. Look how much tanking I've done this time. Imagine how amazing my adrenaline rush must be right now. I could take shots on that Yamato, but the moment I do, I think the Yamato is gonna fire at me. I want to get slightly closer to get a better shot. Because I'm not sure how effective the AP would be here anyway. And if I keep going in this direction, I might be able to take a shot on the midway too. The Georgia is pushing. That's very nice. A battleship that actually battleships. How rare. Oh, there's the midway. Nah, I'm gonna take a shot on the Yamato. Let's go. Midway is coming. Okay, I need the rear turrets on the midway to try to fire the shot before I go down. Come on. Oh! Wow, the Georgia just got the double strike. Well done. The Georgia just sank the midway and the Yamato at the same time, basically. Well played. Anyway, here you can see the Siegfried. She, again, like I said, it's not an amazing game, but it's not terrible. It's not bad either. I mean, 2200 base XP. I tanked a lot this game. Like, significant amounts of damage. Almost 100k damage taken. 2.2 million potential damage. This is really good for a tier 7 battleship. It's too bad I'm actually a tier 9 cruiser, but, you know, whatever. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I would like to thank the patrons on Patreon. Thank you very much for your continued support, Leops. And I hope I'll see you guys next time.